HOA broke down the cabin door to get me, but my guest made her regret development everything worthless. I start from the main point because that is where the fire lives. I was not dealing with an ordinary HOA. I was dealing with a board that believed they were the law, the government, and the owner of every inch of land they could see. My cabin sat on private property, registered under my name, paid for in full. Yet the HOA president acted like she had bought my deeds with her ego. She hated rules she did not control, and she hated me because I was not someone who bent or begged. I followed the laws, not her emotions. And that made me the enemy she wanted to break. The day the HOA broke down my cabin door, everything shifted. It happened while I was gone for work. I received a call, not from the HOA, not from security, but from my guest. A calm voice, steady and unshaken. He said, "She just broke your door. She brought 2 members with her. She is inside your place, touching things you own, acting like she has authority. You should come. But you don't need to hurry." I already made her regret development everything worthless. That line hit me like a hammer. I asked him what he meant. He said nothing else. Just silence and confidence. I knew him well enough to understand. My guest was the last person the HOA should have tested. A calm man, a disciplined man, a man who understood the law better than the president ever did. He wasn't dramatic. He wasn't loud. He was the kind of person who ended a problem before most people realized the problem had started. When I reached the cabin, the broken frame of the door was the first thing I saw. A splintered edge. A muddy footprint. A forced entry. My guest stood outside on the porch, hands behind his back, posture straight, looking like a calm storm. Inside the cabin, the HOA president looked pale. Her voice shook. 2 board members stood beside her, equally terrified. My guest didn't touch them. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He simply informed them of what they had done. He told them they committed unlawful entry, property damage, trespassing, harassment, violation of private residence boundaries, abuse of position, and attempted intimidation. He listed every violation, calmly, like he was reading a grocery list. The president tried to defend herself. She spun excuses about violations, community rules, concerns about my compliance. But none of those things apply to my cabin. I was not inside HOA boundaries. She knew it. Everyone knew it. She counted on fear. She counted on people not knowing the real regulations. She counted on intimidation working forever. But she counted wrong. My guest had already started recording everything the moment she broke in. He documented her smashing the door. He documented her stepping inside. He documented her ordering the board members to search my place. He even documented the moment she touched my personal belongings. Every angle. Every sound. Every act of overreach. She had walked into a trap she built with her own arrogance. When I walked inside, I didn't yell. I didn't rage. I didn't demand anything. I simply said, "President, you need to leave. And expect a call." She froze. She wanted to argue, but my guest stepped slightly forward. She stepped back immediately. Then she left. But the real story starts after she walked out. My guest and I fixed the door temporarily. Then we sat and reviewed the footage. Every frame was clean. Legally airtight. High CTR keywords for destruction of her position in court, HOA misconduct, illegal entry, property violation, abuse of HOA authority, and unauthorized enforcement. I submitted everything to the sheriff's office. Calm, confident. No drama. No exaggeration. Just facts. I also forwarded it to the county. Because the HOA had stepped outside their jurisdiction. That was the part they never expected. The moment they crossed my boundary, they became vulnerable to a different set of laws. The investigation moved fast. Faster than anyone expected. The sheriff arrived at the HOA meeting the following week and walked directly to the president. She tried to smile like everything was fine. He placed her in handcuffs in front of the entire community. Fraud. Trespassing. Property damage. Abuse of authority. Harassment. And the board members who followed her inside were given official warnings and fines. But the fallout didn't stop there. The county reviewed the HOA's operating procedures. They found years of manipulation, unauthorized fines, illegal enforcement policies, misuse of funds. The president had been running the HOA like her personal dictatorship. And her act of breaking down my door became the anchor that pulled everything else to the surface. She lost her position. She lost her reputation. She lost her power. The board dissolved temporarily. A new oversight committee was installed. Community members learned their rights. Fear turned into anger. Anger turned into accountability. The cabin door she broke became the beginning of her end. Months later, when everything settled, my guest visited again. He walked through the new door, stronger and reinforced. He looked around the cabin like he was ensuring peace had finally returned. Then he said in his calm, steady tone, "She thought breaking your door would break your boundary. It broke hers instead." I nodded. Because he was right. The revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't destructive in the way she had intended. It was clean. Smart. Legal. Surgical. And permanent. The HOA had built their entire authority on fear. But once fear collapsed, everything they built collapsed with it. And the best part of all was simple. They did it to themselves. My cabin stands stronger now. My door is unbroken. My peace is mine again. And the HOA president who once believed she owned every property around her now owns nothing but consequences. Calm revenge is the sharpest blade. And this time, it cut exactly where it needed to,